sugar is not good for us, but very hard to get away from. So from this starting point, you said, changing your diet by kind of removing or reducing sugar. How do you suggest in doing that? How do you suggest in replacing that, especially when it is so addictive, when it is so prevalent, it is in everything? And so like, what steps do you suggest in starting this challenging process?
I think like with the movement that I have with men, I always try to, my goal is to realize that masculinity is a religious um, institution. When looking at sugar, we have to start again from the spiritual health. There were words that were just mentioned in the question. It is addicting and it's everywhere, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about many things that are addicting and is everywhere, right? So first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, زُيِّنَ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا وَيَسْخَرُونَ مِنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَالَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا فَوْقَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning زُيِّنَ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, that beautified is this world for those that disbelieve. So looking at things that are prevalent and that are addictive should be like red flashes to us, right? If everyone is doing it as a Muslim, you just say, okay, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. Not too much salt, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, right? Sugar is definitely addicting. I think when we approach these things, when we're trying to wean off of something, we do exactly that. We wean off of it gradually, right? When the salat was introduced in Islam, it was something that the Sharia was something that was introduced gradually, because human nature, as Aisha radiallahu anha said, if we were ordered to leave off drinking and liquor at the beginning and stages of Islam, we would have left Islam, right? So being gradual, tadarruj, the deen of Islam was introduced gradually. So when understanding firstly, and I'm going to use this word intentionally, the evil of the usage of sugar, because sugar in itself, Allah created it. Like the sugar cane, Allah created it. But how we use it is where it can be detrimental. And how we advertise and give it away can be evil, depending on the intention of the person or the industry or the company or whatever the case may be, right? So with sugar, I would say, firstly, know its harms, right? And then know where it's found, define it, distinguish it to further dominate it. So if you know that, like for instance, I didn't know sugar was in juice, and I love apple juice, but then I figured out that's why I would finish a quart of apple juice in 2 days, because the sugar was so addicting to me. It's so addicting, right? When I found out that why I love spaghetti so much, because the spaghetti sauce has a sugar in it. The spaghetti has a sugar in it, right? The beef is fine, but that's why I loved it so much, is because it was addicting. So it's a matter of lessening the quantity if it's in food, to gradually omit some of it. Firstly, looking at what you eat on a regular basis and what you drink. So if you're drinking Starbucks Frappuccinos, not Starbucks, if you're drinking like, we love Haraz and we love Kamaria, and mashallah, may Allah bless them. Alhamdulillah. I'm glad, I hope their profits are going up, actually. Mashallah, tabarakallah. But there's some drinks in there. And I told them, mashallah, the menu, you got to know how to wean off of that gradually as well. The breads, the croissants, all that is detrimental. It tastes phenomenal, okay? But it's detrimental to your health, especially bread and especially like the croissant. So if you love that particular meal so much, lessen it. So probably have half of it, and then drink something healthy with it. Drink some water, or even if you like your coffee with creamer, replace the creamer with something that's, no sugar. Start to use sweetener. Instead of drinking juice, soda, replace it with sweetener, to where you eventually move on to like lemon water. Give your taste buds the opportunity to taste real food. And I promise you, you will see the difference. You'll appreciate it, because you'll feel better. You will feel better. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. So being that it's everywhere from a spiritual perspective, know that if it's everywhere and it's prevalent, it's addicting, then it is not good for our health, and then even for our spiritual health. And I'd say gradually wean off of it and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq, inshallah ta'ala. This is a lifelong process. It's not an event. It's a process.